Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. 1332569. Those are the demons of the Ontario Fire Department. While the state is driving by in that fire truck, what you have is radiant orange directed light that just swipes on the black asphalt. Okay, I am under the fake sun, but that is the ongoing indicator that the demons are stalking. And it's not as though the pattern of conduct stops, but it's just a clear indication. They're followed by the state actors that are the United States Postal Service. The same exact directed light, which I've also shown you in video. You've seen the demons of the United States Postal Service in action as they're both creating light activity using that vehicle, and while directed light just swipes across the ground while they're driving by. The ongoing outward demonstration of demonic possession, and the ongoing specific signature, which is a terrorizing threat, that they are indeed stalking, because that is impossible light, while I am also surrounded by what is above my head a fake sun, all of which is communicating a terrorizing threat. Those two state actors crossing paths. It's currently 8:23 a.m. and it is Monday, December 20th, 2021. And so I do want to document I'm at B&G Plaza, by the way. Union Pacific is in the method of what is surrounding me with audible activity. Minions at the B&G Plaza, the bus stop, in operation of their communication device, studying them, stalking in the path in the state's directed light, while the fire department, the minions that are the people of the state, the United States Postal Service, they're crossing paths with directed light. This is systematic monitoring, all right? And so I just want to document that. It's 8:24 a.m. License plate 6UDB132, 7FBL902, 6AVV151, I believe, 8LSL345, 8AWE463, INRSIS AZ23181, paper 4YIY523, 5958. I can't really see that one. You can scratch that. 3007K, 3007-2K2. 8TMG 593, 7BEF 785. Oh, no license plate on that demon's car. That's hilarious. 41756D2. And again, it is 8:25 in the morning. At 7:53 in the morning is when I leave. 7ADW760 when I leave the venue. Located at, identified as 630 North Fern, in Ontario, California. And this is where the state's fake sun is. All right. And hours later, as I leave at 10:37 a.m., that's where the state's fake sun is. Okay. S.I.I.S LLC, crossing paths with the same exact signature of stalking and terrorism, a demon-possessed stalker, driving that commercial vehicle, engaging in what is a state system. And that's why you have the same exact pattern of conduct, regardless of specific identity, regardless of the type of vehicle. It is necessary and relevant for purposes of what is identifying and slicing apart that state system, all right, that is targeting an American citizen, and it is demonic, all right? They're all demons. You're just understanding the status of those demons as you prosecute them. State versus third party, commercial versus private 8FGC365, because they're all third parties. License 4LTJ663, except for where the state is acting directly, like the Ontario Fire Department is and the United States Postal Service. Those are state actors, and the United States Postal Service takes an oath, and this is what I'm revealing with regard to the heights of hypocrisy. Those are demons driving those mail vehicles, USPS mail vehicles, and they're monitoring American citizens. All right, terrorizing, sexually violating, harassing American citizens. All right, and you've seen the documentation itself. 8EAH928, 8JTM280, 95570F2, 97431F2, Pro Flooring, a terrorist, 9808, 7T1, a stalker, directed light, impossible light while they drive by, 19774M2, 7GGP 424, 7LJ8318, 8ATY 719. And this is the stalker that is Omnitrans 1302445. Now, this is bus number 1333, Route 61 at 8:27 a.m. And so what you have is, first of all, the same exact conduct of arriving at the bus stop, all right? There is no directed light that's swiping across the sidewalk, however, because I'm not standing over there. Omnitrans, just like every other third party, is focused on me with regard to this conduct with directed light while they are crossing path. It's the conduct of a demon, and it is a sex offender, while those demons that are stalking are then going out of their way to touch. And as I'm standing not in front of the benches where they are documented engaging in a routine molestation, there is the absence of that. Those third parties that are stalking, in other words, sitting in front of the bus benches, they're not molested with directed light. That's just me. Okay, and I'm standing in front of what is the bus stop. I'm not sitting at those benches. And this is bus number 1333, 1302445. And under no circumstances is that light activity ever occurring anyway. But I just want to point out again, this is that sex offender that is indeed targeting one specific person, knows exactly who I am. All right, it is currently 8:28 a.m. and Omnitrans is loitering. 4TL539. That is substantially similar. That's a commercial actor touching with directed light. And 7BEF785 has been loitering inside of the B&G Plaza, monitoring with all the license plates that I've been reading since I first read their license plate. 6SOC419, 7WR241. Imperial Transport Corporation. Their commercial vehicles are being driven by demon-possessed stalkers who are engaging in a state system. And were they traveling over state lines, that's interstate, they are entering with the intent to engage in monitoring, harassing, and engaging in stalking an American citizen with communication devices. And they are doing so in the state of California. But I want to be clear, like I said, those trucks that are engaging in interstate commerce as a regular, ordinary part of their business, they're engaging in the P.O.C. All right? License plate, again, of Omnitrans, 1302445, bus 1333. And that bus, the one that I'm using an example of, directed light while they're driving on the opposite side of the street, headed westbound. 8UTY869, 8VNL214, 6ZWG612, 8BEU411, 6RCG540, 6VPH787, 5CCB740, 7RQD043. And when I'm speaking of federal stalking, interstate stalking, specifically with these large trucks, 92636W2, DNY trucking, that are very, I didn't get that license plate. Okay, so they are frequently engaging in what is sexual violence as I document these commercial actors and they're driving large trucks. And I want to be clear, they are a staple with regard to the state's methods of commercial stalking, all right, stalking with light, lighting the path. And they are, let me be clear, a fake sun in the state of California, directed light, molestation, stalking with light, coinciding with crossing a path. That is right there in and of itself the ongoing pattern of conduct, and it is the intent to enter state lines, engaging in interstate commerce while you are in operation of these large trucks. I'm focusing only on those third parties right now. That is the intent. I just want to be clear. They are engaging in the P.O.C. and by virtue of the pattern of conduct, you are in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A. By virtue of the fact that I'm being molested with impossible light activity as you're crossing path using such trucks. And I want to be clear, that is the analysis that would also apply under existing federal law, not just legal policy that I advocate. by virtue of the fact of directed light and a fake sun, amplified audible activity, these truck drivers are fully engaged in the P.O.C. There is no distinction. These are demons engaging in interstate commerce, coming into the state of California with the intent to engage in placing myself, an American citizen, under surveillance in concert on behalf of the government with the intent to harass, to injure, to place the fear of my life, because that's what you're doing when you're monitoring with the government. And that's why you're saying, with regard to the people of the state bringing their little newborn babies, bringing their little kids, you're going to prosecute for that. That's relevant, okay? While they're engaging in Title 18 crimes, 8MYL952. So I just want to speak to that. That's the analysis that's applicable, and that's exactly what they're doing. And you're talking about prosecuting a whole population of people because this is a state system, and that's exactly what they're doing. All right, 8TBP 391. I'm sorry, 8TBP 931. That it goes for actors such as Union Pacific, okay? And I have a wealth of documentation documenting them, and Metrolink, all right? 8WLY, I'm sorry, Amtrak. 7KLR 752, 7N10832, 7WWH 827, 7ZQV 273, 04337B1, 8LXB 087, JJR 285, that's an out of state, 7HVN 187, 6SSW 554, CF 053 handicap, 8P18155, and it's currently, by the way, 8:32 a.m. 8VSE 610. It's 8:39 a.m. touching with directed light. It was in concert with a large truck, just a bar of directed light behind the truck as it's driving east on Holt Boulevard past me at the bus stop. P.O.C. And by the way, the same analysis goes for all of the third party, the people of the state that are stalking via commercial airline planes. They are engaged in interstate commerce. And as I have documented them, 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1, they're engaged in the pattern of conduct with the intent to enter in and cross state lines to place one under surveillance, to engage in stalking with the intent to harass and intimidate and injure. The entity has done all of the above, including kidnapping, and that applies to those commercial airline companies as well. It is the same exact P.O.C. All right, it is 8:40 a.m. 1545 806. That's Omnitrans 7BT 454. It's 8:49 a.m. And as again, now I'm sitting at the bus stop, and this is the targeted use of directed light to molest while Omnitrans crosses path. And that was Route 61 going eastbound on Holt, stopping at the bus stop, and the appearance of what is that directed light to touch while they're stalking. All right, and it is currently, this is Suppose You Drive 10953Y1, US.248168, touching with directed light as well. And they're facilitating venue where they're also engaged in P.O.C. on Holt Boulevard, where at the time I was at the venue that was east of this location on Holt Boulevard, where the state was keeping its fake sun over me. And you have what is the state's fake sun that remained over that hotel room. And that is formerly referred to as Knights Inn. They changed the name of it. I documented this in 2020. And I showed you what was the state's fake sun over that hotel room, the directed light, the state engaging, setting a fake sun over the Social Security building that's adjacent to that property, aiming directed light inside of the hotel were absolutely impossible. And all of this that I'm documenting is impossible to coexist with that placement of the fake sun, where it maintained that light source and that directed light conduct in concert with the people of the state. Suppose You Drive engaging in the P.O.C. molestation, and again, Omnitrans molesting with directed light while they drive by, systematically engaging in the P.O.C. on behalf of the state, and engaging in sexual violence while doing so. It is 8:50 a.m. Suppose You Drive crosses path with substantial directed light while they're driving east on Holt Boulevard after Omnitrans is taking off, with knowledge of the fact that I'm documenting them. So you're talking about what is a violent sex offender that is stalking and placing under surveillance and doing so in a commercial vehicle. It is the same demons engaging in a state system. License plate, let's see, JNY1390, that's Texas. It's P.O.C. It's 8:51 a.m. 6MEV661. 8:52 a.m. 5ZXK 806, I believe. All Alrighty, showing you video of what is not only psychopaths hopping into their cars and walking around, studying their communication devices while they're monitoring. These are demons in operation as I capture that video, the fake sun, south of me where I'm sitting at the bus stop. And this is at 8:53 in the morning, and I'm reminding you about what I captured not even 24 hours ago yet, because this time I still remained at 630 North Fern, where we then did not drive in this direction at all toward the B&G Plaza. The state's fake sun remained over 630 North Fern through the windshield of the car, which I took a picture of, and then I showed you video, and then we went up to the city of Montclair, the Stater brothers, where the state's fake sun was directly over that venue where I was subject to federal stalking by this same entity in the bathroom, and the state's fake sun remaining over me. And then I went to Route 66, and the state's fake sun is at this time remaining over this venue. That is the ongoing documentation of what is an intent to engage in interstate commerce, as I'm reminding you about the commercial actors that are acting on behalf of a government that is placing an American citizen under surveillance with the intent to harass and injure, and place under the fear of loss of life, because that's what is the reality, where a government is stalking and a government is monitoring in concert with an entire people, let alone doing it through the demon-possessed agency that is the Ontario Police Department, who is crossing paths driving west on Holt Boulevard in the same environment, in the same directed light, under the same fake sun. That is the specific signature of what is stalking by an entity, and it is terrorism while the entity does so. And in this video, you see a demon hop out of ultra personnel, which is relevant positioning, knowledge of who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. And that's the urgency that you see that African-American male, who was a demon-possessed stalker, who was monitoring in directed light, is on the storefronts of the B&G Plaza while he moves his vehicle. It's demonic activity. That's the criminal P.O.C, though, for monitoring with communication devices. It is currently 8:56 a.m., and that is video that I captured. Take a look at that. License 7CDX209, 8VSL384, 7RBV969, 5TFM807, 8HLT059. It's P.O.C, it's 8:56 a.m. License 8UHR625, 7PLL554. It's 8:57 a.m. License plate 8JTH158, 7YNB222. It's 8:58 a.m. Central Transport, US.661173. I don't have the license plate, but that is a commercial vehicle, large truck with Central Transport. That's the logo on that truck. It's a yellow truck. License plate 8VQC 744, 8NMS 812, 8HBX 394, 6VFW 904, 1566755, crossing path again and touching with directed light. That's San Bernardino County. 19550L2, 8EQX 278, 8LDK 028. 6UXA327. NSY 709, 6ZBW 197. License plate 8MFJ744. I believe that's a red Kia. It's on the westbound side of Hope Boulevard. I can't say that one. 2709 2T2 08651A3 8SFE 178 or 179 7ZLM 286 12053G2 4UHF 545 6XAJ. Can't see that one. 8TWF 105 42128R2, I believe. Can't really see that one though. United States Postal Service crossing path. They're stalking at the stoplight right now, and they're in a white van. Audible activity and directed light. Everything that demons do, everything you see and hear is intentional with regard to the ongoing pattern of conduct. That's why you stalk with engineered light. And that's the purpose of stalking with audible activity. They are methods of surveillance by a demon-possessed entity. And the vehicle number 753-1648, because USPS does not bear any license plates. 7UKT684 8WRZ979. And that is audible activity of a plane over the B&G Plaza. Alrighty, it is 9:02 a.m. 6LDF 516 439 UP handicap. 8PHS 574 Clissen, CLISEN. That's the logo on the side of that car. SAE 135 88NV 057. It's currently 9:03 a.m. 8MCV 000 7WGJ 561 04786G2 6WJE 860 20554W2 7VPD. I can't see the rest of them. 6X87475. NGJ 338 8TOA 808 55615H3 8GQL095 8D90733 3059172 and it's currently 9:04 a.m. 8KNL736. That's the license plate of that African-American male who hops out of Ultranel personnel where he was doing nothing but maintaining presence in the path. He's group stalking inside of a facilitating venue. And then he runs out in order to move his vehicle, which is engagement in the criminal elements. I'm speaking to the video that I'm capturing, showing the fake sun south of me, right over this parking lot. And then as he engages in the terrorizing act of activity creation and the directed light that moves across the storefronts, I want to make sure I recite that demon's license plate on my podcast. It is currently 9:07 a.m. And as I review that video, the sex offenders engage in more light activity. 03506L2 Gold Star Foods, one of them, engaging in molestation. And as I am studying that video, 79425 F3. As I am studying that video to recall that license plate, you have what is the entity engaging in more directed light. All right. So you have what is, first of all, light that's never occurring naturally at all. And then you have what, while I'm reviewing a video, engaging in more molestation, more substantial directed light while I review that video. I want to make sure I document that. This is audible activity over the B&G Plaza under the fake sun. All right. It is currently 9:07 a.m. 8LWL181, 8, I can't see that one, 7YET 468. And again, those are those trucks. All of the commercial means whereby a state is engaging in surveillance, that is exposing the entity, the people of the state, while commercial stalking, because that's what that's referred to, that's exactly what it is. They're using commercial means to engage in stalking on behalf of the state, placing one under surveillance and engaging in sexual violence routinely. And this is the same entity also stalking in bathroom stalls, stalking in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping. License 09892F3, that's Enterprise. 5KPU 749. This is the exact same entity, okay? 7798-3F3. They are acting as one. This is the reality of a government that is monitoring an American citizen and does it in concert with the people of the state. It is currently 9:08 a.m. URV181, 7X11, 699, 64752C3, 28879F1. City of Ontario, but that is customer. I'm in the City of Ontario and they use their municipality vehicles to engage in stalking. It is 9:10 a.m. and Omnitrans is arriving. License plate, this is not of Omnitrans, this is a paper plate, BF58. I can't really see that one. License 1545811, bus number 2351. And that's a molestation while they're driving by under the fake sun that's over the B&G Plaza. That is the intent. It's currently 9:10 a.m. SJF 026. It's 9:12 a.m. 5HUK 2923885 9J2 8. I can't see that one. It's right now. 8 ROT 290. YTK045 8HBL067. All right, these demons inside of the B&G Plaza. This is license plate 99612V1. 8RWB 549, 8EZT189, 8HDT717. This is, let's see, looks like 41295U2. What is that? 41295U2, yeah. 6WHM203. It's 9:13 a.m. Eight TWJ 884. 7KYY059. 7SWD591. 7SZF 533 87799M2. 6TNR 742. 58NK 253. 8YTR 626. 8K79 784. 5F 80193. 8EEY249. 7ZDG163. It's currently 9:15 a.m. 56115M2. GarageFloorsDay.com. 6KWD824. 70448J2. 8GBX543. It's 9:16 a.m. $827BS 5687 2K2. Can't see that one. 7LPF 303. 8SLY 881. AV31Y14 paper. BF15 G12 paper. 5GZG211. 7CTH254. 8KQY 862. 4YJY333. 8BID 546. 6DVY 969. 7AWE 390. 6AFG 140. All right, Landstar. License plate P528393. That is Landstar Leasing, safe, compliant owner operator. That's a commercial truck. That's a large truck stalking in the path and directed light in the shade while I'm nearest the S.I.I.S liquor side, where I showed you rich directed light where the demons were driving by me while I was at that side of the S.I.I.S liquor, and it was appearing in the shade, and that's where Omnitrans engages in the stalking and molesting with directed light as opposed to directed light appearing on the sidewalk. All of these ways are showing what is the specific focus of me with that which is unnaturally occurring under that which is unnatural, a fake sun and directed light. All right, just want to document that commercial act. That's a large truck, Landstar. It's currently 9:20 a.m. 7 ZSN 625 8 VX. Hold on. 5 RXV 34371. I can't really see that one though. You can see this one 92612X2. Entering inside of B&G Plaza. They're just one demon after another entering in, crossing path. That is where I walk. 7 PRD 248. 5R 47636. Six PEC 288. 04829K1. 8 ZBL 720. It's currently 9:22 a.m. Let's see. FSM Foods at Andy's Burgers. They are in relevant position monitoring as well. Oh. 7 EKU 647. And I have left B&G Plaza, so now I'm walking north up toward the City Hall / 280 North Lehman Apartments parking lot off of Hope Boulevard, so I'm walking north up Plum. That's 9:23 a.m. License plate 8FED 335. And that is walking through third-party facilitating venues, Ontario Town Square Townhomes, Metro 102 Apartments, where the state is keeping its fake sun, moving it north over me as I walk north of Plum. Those are facilitating venues. And it's 9:24 a.m. You funny. It's paper plate BU94P26, 8TTF924, 8UOL642, 58815T2, 7JIT124. Let's see who's running there. Oh, I read this license plate. Yeah, they're stalking in the parking lot. And engineered light. Oops. Alright, showing you a video of what group stalking looks like under the fake sun that is now over this parking lot, over me, moving from the B&G Plaza. Very specific to where I'm located, all of which is before what is 10:37, 10:38 in the morning, where I remain at 630 North Fern. And the state is moving, keeping its fake sun stationary over that address, over that windshield of the car that I'm inside of, because that's where I'm at. And the state's light source is nowhere relative to that location. That's not the sun. The state is stalking with a light source. And what is the state is stalking with light, in other words. 955BS, and that's why I captured on video. You see a demon crossing path. He's walking on the sidewalk, walking in the street, crossing the street. He's crossing path. And you see the operation of a communication device, though you do not have to hold it up. These are conspicuous and inconspicuous methods of stalking on behalf of the state, and they're under what is the fake sun. That's how you're going to prosecute the people of the state that are stalking on behalf of the government. And that's exactly what you're doing in impossible light activity and under a fake light source that is remaining over you where you go, and that's what documentation shows. It's 9:28 a.m. That video is captured at approximately 9:26 a.m. Take a look at that. So the specific conduct of stalkers, the people of the state, they drive at the turn circle. Directed light coexists with that conduct. That's called stalking. And doing so with impossible light, that's called stalking. Knowledge of who I am under a fake sun that's remaining over me, that's called stalking. Doing it on behalf of an entity and a demonic entity. It's 9:28 a.m. All right, it is 9:32 a.m. and what I just captured is video of the state's light source, a fake sun that is remaining over me as I am in movement, and I showed you what is keeping a fake sun over me as I remain stationary at an address illustrative of what is stalking with light, as the state's light source is over me as I am facing south at the B&G Plaza. Moving over, as I show you also in video, moving around as I move in that parking lot, as it's keeping its light source over that venue over me, replete with what is also directed light, while the people of the state who are stalking vicariously on behalf of the public entity that is monitoring with communication devices while they are crossing path, that's what that's referred to in that engineered light. And at 9:30, I'm showing you what is the state's light source over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. And you're going to also remember what is also indicative of stalking with light. The state's fake sun, as I'm showing you at 9:30 in the morning, this is the same light source that the state is keeping over that same apartment building after 11:50 in the morning. The state is keeping it, as I showed you, at 1:14 in the afternoon. The state is moving it to the back of the library, which I show you at 10:38 in the morning. The state is keeping it well into the afternoon, and this is the same location that I'm showing you at 9:30 in the morning. This is also illustrative of what is stalking with a light source that is also hovering over me where I move. Okay, and all of this again is in before today. This is before 10:38 a.m. where I remain at 630 North Fern, and I showed you this in a plain picture you can see before your own eyes while it is aimed precisely into the windshield over me at that address of 630 North Fern. And then again, I want to reiterate, this is understanding what stalking with light is, and it's terrorism while a government does so, and it is also terrorism and unlawful and impermissible threat while the entity that is stalking and monitoring you is also monitoring your documentation. So it shall be unlawful and relevant to that prosecution of that entity and all of those actors, as the entity is engaging in what is, first of all, no longer concealed, and as an American citizen documents the fact that as an American citizen documents to establish that a government is monitoring them. That is by virtue of the fact of beginning to document that which the government is likely engaging in while that entity is monitoring that documentation and continuing that P.O.C. That is the intensification of that prosecution. All right, the government has no business monitoring, and by virtue of the nature of the crime, the government also knows that you're documenting it. All right, that's ongoing obstruction of justice and ongoing terrorism that is directly relevant to what is federal prison government actors engaging in this system, and all the incredible methods of stalking and terrorism that I have shown that the government engages in. Stalking with helicopters, stalking via law enforcement, okay, and stalking with a people. That is terrorism in and of itself. On all of them under what is demon possession. That is extraordinary terrorism. It is inherently intended to frighten, all right, to traumatize, okay? Also, it is by virtue of the malicious conduct of a government and a people, it is that which is so incredible and unfathomable and, let's face it, unbelievable, but for documentation. It is that which is also intended to falsely defame. That is criminal defamation. And this is the pattern of conduct by the entity that is also monitoring you to defame that target individual that is alleging that the government and that strangers are stalking them. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what the people of the state are doing. And the pattern of conduct is revealing all the methods of that system as it is executed by an entity that is demon possessed. It's 9:36 a.m. and that's a video that I captured of the state's fake sun. And that is also understanding that same placement as I capture it over the 280 North Lemon Apartments upon my arrival to the Ovid Family Community Library, where the state keeps its fake sun for the duration of the day as I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library. All right, it's 9:36 a.m. And now what you have is the people of the state that are just patrolling, walking in front, which is called crossing a path, the maintenance of presence, the obsessive stalking, which they are doing at every location, including in bathroom stalls, including at night where I am sleeping in a car where this entity is stalking in the same manner that you hear, flying over me by commercial airline planes, hovering over Fern Avenue, hovering by helicopters flying in circles, amplifying audible activity, including the sound of a train, which is impossible audible activity, all right? And you also have it's impossible audible activity because you're understanding the location of that train. So the state is amplifying it. And what is also indicative of the fact that it's impossible and the state is maintaining an environment is the fact that it is occurring pursuant to the demonic behavioral pattern. Demons stalk with simultaneity, create activity with simultaneity to the one whom that they are stalking. So as I move, as I engage in activity on my communication device, activity is created. A demon will come out of the blue that is already stalking in the darkness, will start their car, which is the creation of audible and light activity. The state will sound amplified train activity. The state will start circling around above me in a helicopter audibly where it was already there stalking. All right. You're also understanding that ongoing environment. At nightfall, the state is placing a fake moon directly over me, moving that fake moon, keeping it in alignment with me, just as I showed while I was in Montclair, while I was in Fontana, and that same fake moon is over the vehicle as I arrive at 630 North Fern. All right. This is what you are paying attention to with regard to what is a government that is stalking an American citizen, terrorizing an American citizen, and monitoring in concert with the people of the state. All right. That is understanding what is terrorism. That is federal group stalking and monitoring. It's 9:37 a.m. and this is P.O.C. It is currently 11:35 a.m. At approximately 11:30 a.m., where I remain sitting from my entrance. I entered at 10 o'clock on the dot. So from my entrance and I walked to the back portion of the library, the seating area where this is the location where I showed you at 10:38 a.m. The state's fake sun is at the back of the library as I'm facing the University of LORRAINE College of Law. This is the area in the library where I'm sitting, and I want to document 11:29. It's approximately this time where I get up, and I'm on surveillance camera. I want to document what is an ongoing incident of terrorism, and this is for understanding what is the terrorism that the entity is ceaselessly engaging in and doing it maliciously so. And this is how you are understanding what are the psychopaths that are the people of the state. They're demon possessed and they engage in entirely malicious conduct with the government. They are all in a specific environment that is absolutely abnormal. It's unnatural. All right. They're sitting in the chairs. They're sitting at the desks. They're engaging in conduct outwardly as though they're normal, engaging in their job and or studying or looking for a book, doing so while they're holding a child, whatever it is that you assign as normal. All right. But for the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, it is the presence of demons that surround the demon possessed who are entirely focused on you while they are conducting. And this is an unspoken system that's underway by government while you have what is the ongoing ceaseless engagement and what are the criminal elements of monitoring. And I want to specifically document an act of terrorism inside of the Ovid Family Community Library. And as I walk from this seating area I walk to the front to get to the restroom. And I want to be clear, the entity acting via Ovid Family Community Library, including one that I specifically named, her name is Patty, right? You have what is Abigail that's sitting at the desk area. They have a desk area where you can get a study room, for example, engage in any sort of form, if you will, for what is stalking in the path and audible activity creation and crossing path as I walk through from the front to the back, essentially. And you have a group of employees that are exiting out of the administration area. They do so as I begin walking, as I move. This is tracking my step. This is maintenance of presence in the path. They're all in directed light. I've shown you the light activity on the ground while I'm walking around. They are stalking in the path. And as I walk through what is arriving at the computer area, you have what is that computer area that is behind the elevator. The state engages in while the employees are crossing path. This is the communication. I'm both describing to you what are the elements of monitoring, first of all. The P.O.C. is ceaseless. I am also describing to you what is the malicious conduct of the demon-possessed as I am documenting, as anyone, right? This is the conduct speaking to what is the entity and the necessity of policy and understanding the inherent malice of the demon-possessed as they are monitoring as a government, all right? This is the government that's walking all around, that's maintaining presence, that's working at the library, that's all outside and around the library, that's driving in traffic. That's the government all around you, okay? You have what is the entity aiming what is directed light, substantial flashing of directed light, and it appears on the computer desk partitions as I look in that direction at the opposite side of the room, while the employees are just walking in a line in front of me, right? Like they're just walking through, they're actually stalking the path. And this is also a communication of a threat by the demon-possessed who engage in keeping their back to you, acting like they're consumed with something else, while you are witnessing what is this impossible light activity, which is a terrorizing threat. This is the inherent malice of the psychopaths who surround and are intentionally communicating that threat that is otherwise construed as what mostly you could say it's like a passive-aggressive psychopath. All right, showing their aggression, but doing it with their back to you. And I want to document that act of terrorism as I'm subject to it as I walk to the restroom. I do return again at 11:35 a.m. I'm back at this back portion of the library, but I want to document that. This is understanding what are psychopaths. This is, first of all, they're psychopaths. This is demon possession. You need to understand in the secular, a demon-possessed actor is one who is engaging in life. You have no physical indication on their person that you're dealing with a demon-possessed person, and this is an abnormal person. This is one that has the spirit of Satan itself on them, okay? This is compelling everything that they are doing, and it is entirely the life of a con, one who is a malicious actor in every aspect of their life. With regard to what the government is doing, this is the malicious conduct of what is legally referred to as the people of the state who are engaging in terrorism vicariously on behalf of a government that is monitoring American citizens. And I am subject to what is absolutely impossible light activity, substantial light, as it is flashing across multiple partitions, the desk and the computer area, as I look in that direction, while the demons that work at this venue are intentionally stalking in the path and maintaining presence all around me, while they are communicating that threat, while the state does its job of aiming impossible light inside of the venue, while they're stalking in the path, an equally terrorizing threat. They're stalking while they're doing so. The monitoring is underway while they're stalking in the path in directed light. All right, so I want to document that. It's currently 11:40 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 1:39 p.m. I did step out to show you what I've already established, that this entity, the government, that is practicing a satanic targeting system, is monitoring in concert with the people of the state, equally demon-possessed, which is terrorism, while an entity is stalking and monitoring together in violation of existing federal law and is relevant to the policy that I advocate, where a government is terrorizing an American citizen as federal stalking is underway. And what I showed at 1:36 p.m. is the state's fake sun that remains, which is in conformity to the long documentation that already exists. It remains where I remain, and I remain at the Ovid Family Community Library, and that is why I captured the state's directed light, first of all, and also what is the state's fake sun. Point number one is I'm pointing out in the video, which you want to take a look at, 1:36 p.m., because you want to remind yourself 24 hours ago I had already traveled from the city of Rancho Cucamonga, where I remained, and the state kept its fake sun directly over my head. All right, the psychopath that knows that I'm documenting it, posing an impermissible threat as I document that criminal conduct that I was subject to, and I remain subject to. And then I travel on Route 66 and I go east on Foothill Boulevard, showing you what is at 1:14 p.m. in conflict with what I showed you 24 hours prior to yesterday at 1:14 p.m., showing you the state's fake sun and showing you what was stationary presence as at the Ovid Family Community Library, and contrasting that what was real-time movement with a fake sun remaining in the window of that bus while I am in Rancho Cucamonga traveling to the city of Fontana at 1:14 p.m. At 1:36 p.m., I am already in the city of Fontana yesterday, and I am at the intersection of Valencia and Sierra Avenue, where the people of the state showed their demon possession, showed their true nature, which is ongoing evidence where you see directed light. You're seeing what is a psychopath that is stalking, and what is a demon-possessed stalker who is engaged in corporate invasion of privacy, who is engaged in surveillance, and who is engaged in stalking serially with a government. And that's exactly what the people of the state are doing, and that is all that they are doing while the state is stalking with an entire environment. And that's exactly what I'm showing while the state's fake sun remains over. And again, I captured video at 9:30 a.m. So not only this is documentation of remaining over the same building, right in front of the same entrance for over 4 hours. That's not the sun. Also, you are seeing what is not the sun while the state is hovering with its fake sun over me in the city of Fontana, while it's remaining in front of the entrance and also aiming directed light through the doors of the Ovid Family Community Library. That's also not the sun. Look at those two videos together and you'll see what is that light source directly over my head. And this is revealing what is stalking with light and its terrorism as the government is engaging in this. And it is undoubtedly monitoring with the people of the state of California, who, by the way, are engaging in that same pattern. At 1:36 p.m., I proceed to walk to the Fontana Lewis Library, and I'm showing you at 1:46 p.m. as I'm on the grounds of the Fontana Lewis Library. There's no question about my location, nor the central presence of that fake sun over my head. And then as I walk through that parking lot to get the other demon that was stalking in a vehicle, which I recited in real time on my podcast, and as I capture a picture with the fake sun, because I wanted you to see how it advanced beyond the Fontana Lewis Library, remaining over me, and the demons of the Fontana Police Department cross path, which I capture on video. Okay, and that's where the state's fake sun was at that time. Okay, and you have what is maintaining presence at the Ovid Family Community Library in the city of Ontario in direct conflict with that. This is stalking with light. You have what, as I walk back toward the Fontana Lewis Library onto the grounds, and you see the group stalker doing the exact same thing that I captured today in the video, using a truck parked in relevant position under the state's fake sun in directed light, using hazards, which is light activity. That's exactly what that demon was doing that I captured on video while he's standing in Fontana in front of the Steelworkers Auditorium, while that demon looks to the left as I am documenting him while he's engaging in terrorism and molestation, because the people of the state are a sex offender, the government's a sex offender, as you're understanding what is stalking with light, and the stalker is touching for a criminal purpose. That's what this documentation is going toward as well. So you have what is that demon-possessed stalker that I captured yesterday under the fake sun in the city of city of Fontana, and you see that fake sun right over his head while he's using his flashers. That's exactly what I just documented again at 1:36 p.m. as I step out to show you what is the maintenance of a fake sun in the city of Ontario, not just in the city of Ontario, which is impossible to coexist with being over Fontana over me, but it is directly over me in front of the same entrance that I arrived at 9:30 in the morning, while it is also aiming what is light into the entrance doors. All right, this is the P.O.C. It's 1:44 p.m. and this is Ovid Family Community Library. That is P.O.C. All right, it is 3:59 p.m. I did capture video for you to see what is the remaining with the light source in alignment to the location where I'm at. That is the Ovid Family Community Library in the city of Ontario. And you are understanding what is the remaining with the light source. What does the state do? It puts it right over my head during the day, keeps it in perfect alignment with me as it is feigning some sunset in the evening. And that's why in the city of Fontana, it's in alignment with me when I stand outside in the parking lot. After I showed you 2 minutes earlier at 4:16 p.m., what is the state aiming directed light inside of that computer lab, which is not going to occur if that was actually the sun setting in alignment. That's not light that's going to result inside of the computer lab on the wall, nor is the actual sun remaining visible to you in the same sky space for the duration of the day. That's what that documentation reveals. In this video that I just captured, while the state is flying over, hovering in a commercial airline plane, which is amplified audible activity and relevant positioning, and you also see the demons, the people of the state, patrolling all around in their vehicles, monitoring in concert while I'm on my phone using the camera, that's operation of my phone, while they are swirling all around. This is a demonic and the public entity acting vicariously while they are pacing all around. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at the state moving all around in vehicles, walking around, present inside of the buildings all around, monitoring an American citizen. And you have what is also not the sun. It's over at 9:30 a.m. and that's just right here at the Ovid Family Community Library. I show you video at 9:30 a.m. And you have what is still remaining visible in front of the building in alignment with me in the city of Ontario in the same sky space. This is the same area. And by the way, the state is not going anywhere with its fake sun. And you also have what is understanding what is the psychopath and the sex offender. Not only are they stalking in the bathroom, I entered the restroom. You have the entity stalking in the bathroom space. I just stepped outside to show you what is the remaining of the light source. And you have, that's not the sun, okay? So you have, again, that's another understanding of what is remaining and stalking with light. You have it in the same sky space. It's still right here in front of me. I'm still right here in the front of the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library. The actual sun is not remaining on one block. What about the whole rest of wherever else the sun is going? The state is treating the sun as though it is revolving around the one whom the entity is monitoring. That is myself. Okay, it is currently 4:01 p.m. and that is video that I captured and I will be uploading it. And this entity will be monitoring, trying to obstruct that, and I will document that as well, and I will upload it and publish it. It is 4:01 p.m. That is P.O.C. That's the entity while keeping its fake sun right here in alignment with the entrance of the ovid and hovering via a all white commercial airline plane. That is P.O.C. (4:02 p.m.) All right, like I was pointing out this morning with regard to the applicable federal law, that the state is currently in violation of these large trucks, the commercial stalking aspect of the P.O.C. The commercial airline planes, they're engaged in interstate commerce while they are engaged in federal stalking on behalf of the state. These airplanes are those that are, by virtue of what they do, flying across state lines with the intent to place under surveillance on behalf of a government that is monitoring. You see what is the state stalking with commercial airline planes and the state's light source and the state's directed light pursuant to the demonic behavioral pattern of what I do as I do it. Those are the commercial actors in commercial airline planes in violation of Title 18, 22618 subsection 1. They're also in violation of subsection 2, as the entity is monitoring with communication devices in concert with the minions who are monitoring all around me with communication devices. And this is how those commercial actors are violating both sections of Title 18. And that's also what you're looking at in the video. So I just want to point out that analysis that I already mentioned. That's exactly what you're looking at in video. License plate 8WPF 939. It is 4:04 p.m. P.O.C. All right, the image that I took at 4:06 p.m. is the commercial actor, third-party Southwest Airlines, that's engaging in federal stalking, hovering over the 280 North Women Apartments while the state amplifies it. And then you also see the demons pacing in and out of the entrance, which is a means of crossing path. 6NNJ040 is doing the same crossing path. 7FMY910 doing the same crossing path. This is the entity pacing. That's the state pacing. That's a demonic entity pacing. All right, the skateboard is a means of audible activity in the state's directed light. The entrance inside what I'm showing you, these are demons that are pacing on foot, okay? And they are using the opening and closure of the door with simultaneity to my using my camera, all right? And opening up my podcast to record so you know what I took a picture of. That's the specific actor, Southwest Airlines, engaging in the P.O.C. and the wealth of documentation that exists to that end. It is 4:07 p.m. 7PYN077 molesting with Tracy Banks, who has her hazards on, and this group stalker comes out. Understand, directed light covers the ground, so this is a molestation. Tracy has on her hazards. This man comes and molests with light while I am loading my property into her car. All right, so this is criminal teamwork and it's demonic activity, and it's also sexual molestation by the entity. It's 6:47 p.m. And I took a picture of that so you can see what is the sexual violation of one that demons are stalking together and monitoring at Ovid Family Community Library, P.O.C. Again, that's 7PYN077. That appears to be a Latino male. Monitoring together. That's audible activity. All right, it's currently 9:07 p.m. and I just want to document, this is for purposes of the prosecution of a public entity, a government, and the people of the state of California. And the entity is engaging in ongoing, ceaseless and literally psychopath level of stalking. And that's the pattern of conduct as I've revealed it to you. You are a psychopath engaging in that pattern of conduct as like the government is engaging in. I mean, this is the demon possessed, and I just want to document on my podcast. I want to publish in my documentation specifically that the entity is continuously engaging in stalking, continuously engaged in terrorism, and on a continuous basis, the state is aiming its directed light throughout this entire car. That, I mean, you have a government and the people of the state that are stalking somebody inside of a car. First of all, I'm sleeping in a car, and second of all, the entity, I'm sleeping in a car and you're aiming light into it because you are stalking and targeting somebody. That is a freak weirdo, and understand that is multiplied because the government is that freak weirdo. The demon possessed people of the state, and that is everybody, okay? Literally just taking turns driving down the street to stalk, walking past, hiding in the darkness, and then coming out of nowhere, walking past to stalking with activity while the state is just aiming directed light throughout the car, just over and over and over and over and over again, aiming noise inside of the car in the same psychopath, pursuant to the same psychopath pattern. All right. Creating what is earthquake-like conduct while you hear an engine revving. That's satanic. Okay. And those are the psychopaths. That's the terrorism. And that's exactly what I'm going to prosecute the government for, and every third party, including the sex offender that molested me in concert with Tracy Banks. By the way, her license plate is 4WON 432, and she is engaging in P.O.C. while she's inside of her apartment, listening to every syllable that I'm uttering and monitoring with these same psychopaths, demons whose name I don't know. I just want to be clear. She's a part of the same pattern of conduct. Every single last documented actor is going to be prosecuted for it. And that's the significance. That's the importance of my including it on my podcast. The state is engaging in, and right now, again, 9:09 p.m., aiming directed light over my head. That's across the roof of the car. Okay, that's directed light, and it has nothing to do with headlights. Like I've said, it has nothing to do with sunlight when they're these psychopaths and you're looking at the directed light with your own eyes. Okay, you've seen it, and that's exactly what the state is aiming inside of a vehicle in the middle of the night, stalking 24 hours a day. Okay, the state is engaging in that ongoing obsessive conduct, and Tracy Banks is a demon whose name I know, and I just want to be clear. She is the same sex offender, setting me up, engaging in that ambush-like sexual violence, or another group stalker who she is monitoring me with, including the government that is targeting this vehicle with directed light, terrorizing and aiming it, moving it across the roof of the car over my head, all throughout the vehicle, all right, while group stalkers are driving both on G Street and driving next to the car up and down on Fern Avenue. It's absolutely psychopath conduct. That is what is called terrorism by the government. And I have thoroughly prosecuted this entity with the documentation that I continue to publish. As you can look at what are the different vantage points of analysis, because it's not just down to the hour and minute. That's just one vantage point of understanding what you're looking at when the state is stalking with light, because it's down to time of year, because this fake sun has nothing to do with what would be the actual sun and its placements and locations based on the time of year. You're looking at what is a systematic method of stalking, engaging in the same identical pattern of maintaining presence wherever I am, remaining over a specific property wherever I am, keeping directed light inside and all around a property wherever I am, keeping that directed light on me and around me. And while you are keeping a fake sun, and even when acting like that fake sun is setting, it's not. The state is aiming light on the same exact venue. That has nothing to do with any time of year, has nothing to do with the time of day. I am using that analysis because the state is stalking with a fake sun, and you can reveal it by comparing it to what the actual sun would be doing and not doing. And that is the analysis that I'm revealing. And I have thoroughly prosecuted the state, and while the entity at 9:09 and again at 9:10 p.m. continues to aim this directed light, this impossible light inside of the car, while Satan is listening to me document it, that's why they're going to federal prison. Okay. And when I mean the government actors that are stalking in helicopters, I'm going to drag them and they're going to federal prison. That's the government that's doing that. All right. The criminals that are flying these commercial airline planes and stalking, they are part of the same exact pattern of conduct while the state is molesting with directed light, stalking with a fake sun, stalking, aiming directed light inside of the vehicle while they're hovering over the street where I am in that directed light under a fake moon, under a fake sun. They are part of the same exact pattern of conduct. I'm going to prosecute them under existing federal law, and I'm going to prosecute them under the law that I advocate, that I have designed to deal with Satan. I'm going to show you how to deal with them. I'm going to show you how to prosecute them. And that's exactly what I'm documenting. So you're listening to me document, and you're listening to me in real time. While that psychopath is listening, they're aiming more directed light, impossible light activity, while Satan listens to me document the fact that it's aiming that light. That's going to the prosecution. Okay. Every named third party and state actor is answering for what is the conduct of an entity. And I want to document it's 9:13 p.m. and this is the ceaseless P.O.C. And that's what I want to publish. The pattern of conduct does not stop. The pattern of conduct is such that a demon-possessed government, a demon-possessed people are monitoring an American citizen, targeting one who is not of that demon possession. And this is the reason for what is a satanic targeting system, targeting one that is not of that psychopath makeup. Okay. And I am also not only revealing to you what is their condition is demon possession, that's going to what is terrorism that they're engaged in. And it's also terrorism because it's the government that's doing it, and it's doing it with the people. All right. And it's 9:13 p.m. and this is at 630 North Front inside of the car where the government and the people of the state are stalking somebody where they know very well I am sleeping. And that is not only is it pathetic, it's terrorism while they are engaged in ongoing hovering, stalking conduct. All right. That is P.O.C. That is the same stalker that you saw flying over the 280 North Lemon Apartments while the state was keeping a fake sun at the entrance area, at the same perfect alignment with me at the entrance area of the Ovid Family Community Library, hovering over Fern Avenue, while the state is also aiming directed light inside of the car while I let you listen to that. It's 9:15 p.m. And that's exactly what this entity is going to be prosecuted for. Psychopath level stalking, which is a threat to the life of the American citizen that the government is stalking and monitoring. It's 9:16 p.m. and that's P.O.C. That's the state flying over by helicopter. And the state is aiming ongoing flashing light inside of the car, directed light, and aiming a substantial directed light while the state flies over by helicopter. Just large amounts of directed light arriving in the middle of the car in the darkness. A demon-possessed stalker is walking with a flashlight down the street. That's a stalker, and that's a demon doing that. That's light activity. All right, she's just using a flashlight. She's stalking in the path with light, walking on the sidewalk, and there's already directed light while the state is flying over by helicopter. These are demons. And let me point out something else to you. While the entity listens to me speak about the fact that they're going to federal prison for stalking in helicopters, you have the entity engaging in that very conduct that I say that they're going to federal prison for. That's what this is, and that's exactly why they're going to federal prison. It's not a coincidence. Yes, the entity is a stalker, but understand they're engaging in this very conduct because I said they're going to federal prison for engaging in it. That's the conduct of Satan, okay? And they're going to federal prison for it. And you have this stalker that walks on the sidewalk with a flashlight. This group stalker was already outside of the car. As I opened the door, they're walking by with a flashlight. That's a demonic group stalker, a demon-possessed group stalker who's already creeping on the side of the car. Okay, they just arrive out of nowhere, walking on the sidewalk while the state is flying over in a helicopter. That's P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 10:15 p.m. and I'm going to document this venue over here where this demon is running around the venue. That's where that demon walks to with a flashlight, and then they run around the side on the grass. That's moving light. That's the elements, and it's also demonic activity. This is terrorism while they're engaging in the elements of monitoring with knowledge of what you're documenting. It's intentional conduct by absolute psychopaths who all of them are stalking together. It's 10:16 p.m. That's the state stalked by helicopter. And I'm going to recite the address of Satan where they're running around with a flashlight. They think it's funny. I'm going to get all their license plates and I'm going to get the address as well. All right, this third party facilitating venue, well, they're all monitoring. But let me go right to this specific address where this demon is walking around with a flashlight and then she runs back around in the opposite direction. Absolute psychopath. It is 10:17 p.m. All right, third party facilitating venue. This is 615 North Fern. All right, she walks over there and then she runs up to the property. Then she runs around to the opposite side. And she's acting like she's delivering mail with a flashlight at 10:17 a.m. walking on all of the properties. That's Satan. And she's acting with the state that's flying around with a helicopter right now. That's a random demon, okay? This is demonic activity, psychopath, and she's being a stalker. And I'm going to document the venues she's monitoring with 615 North Fern, 611 North Fern. And let me get the license plate, 7JHZ975, because they're all monitoring on this street. I want to be clear. This demon that engages in stalking around my vehicle with a flashlight while the state flies over, 7JJM385, and then running around the properties with the flashlight. These psychopaths are listening to everything. That's exactly why. I understand, yes, they're stalkers, but the state engages in that intentional conduct of flying over again in a helicopter because they're listening to me say they're going to federal prison for that, and they are. BSDNA 77. That's a license plate. All of these, the people of the state are all monitoring. They are all listening to that, and that is 7HWG140. I'm just going to identify all who are monitoring with that entity that's stalking with a helicopter. 7WCS 716. 7RXZ919 7JYE564, and this is 607 North Fern Avenue. Let's see. I don't see an address on this, but I will show you what is U.S.P.S. That's the demon that's running around with a flashlight. It is United States Postal Service. It's 10:19 p.m. Alrighty, I got the United States Postal Service is the demon-possessed stalker that is creeping around at 10 o'clock at night around my car with a flashlight, and then proceeds to walk to those addresses that I read the address of. She's running around with a flashlight, and then she is walking on the property as though she's delivering mail. And then I actually watched this demon walk to a United States Postal Service vehicle, and I captured her on video. I am in directed light, and you heard on my podcast what the state was doing, which was flying over the vehicle that I'm inside of with a helicopter. All right, and I want to be clear, it is the absolute intentional conduct. First of all, United States Postal Service, they'll start it now because I just documented it, but I want to be clear, that is nothing other than the targeting conduct. You have this, what is directed light, you have what is the state flying over by helicopter, which is the P.O.C, and you have United States Postal Service delivering mail at 10:20 it's 10:21 right now, at 10:15 at night, in order to engage in that demonic act of terrorism. Stalking with light using the flashlight, that's a method of that. And again, that was 615 North Fern, that was 611 North Fern, that was those license plates that I read at those properties. The state sounding more helicopter activity is the same exact P.O.C, and United States Postal Service was engaged in it. So the state can sound more helicopter activity. The state is always stalking and did it in concert with the United States Postal Service. And this other address is 607 North Fern. This is where this demon is running around with a flashlight in the middle of the night, while she was hiding around my car. And as soon as I start using my phone and recording it on podcast, she appears out of nowhere, right by the window, and walks by with a flashlight on, which is the pattern of conduct. I told you, stalkers are always appearing out of nowhere as soon as I engage in use of my phone, because I wanted you to hear the helicopter activity. And I'm also pointing out to you the fact that the entity did that because they're listening to me document, and they are going to federal prison. The United States Postal Service is the demon-possessed entity that I have told you that they are. And you've seen it on video yourself, directed light while they are driving by in those little old crusty white vehicles that say USPS, and there is no form where any of that light activity is occurring. You're looking at what are demons that are wearing United States Postal Service vehicles. And that was literally a demon that was hiding around my car, walking in directed light, and using a flashlight, which is a method of light activity. And when you're understanding what is demonic activity, that was literally the manifestation of a demon. And it was a show of hostility while the state is simultaneously flying over with helicopters. So you need to understand that. All right. And so that's exactly what that was. And I got that demon on video while she is parked at Carriage Alley and Fern, and then crosses path with me with light. Understand that that's the elements of monitoring, and there is no form. And not only that, you're going out of your way to engage in that demented act of terrorism, because it's demonic activity and it's absolutely demented, and it is a foolish show of aggression while the pattern of conduct is underway, and that is by the government acting directly, the United States Postal Service. Let me be clear, all of these demons are monitoring together. The state is engaging in ongoing amplified audible activity. You cannot hear any train, and that is also clearly to be demonstrated in a federal court. You cannot hear any train at this address. And my documentation is showing what is a P.O.C, as the state has provided that documentation. All right, and there is no way that the government that has no argument is not going to be able to replicate that, because you are not able to naturally hear any train activity. It's absolutely impossible. So the state is engaging in what is the ongoing elements of monitoring. That's terrorism while the entity engages in that. Also, it's coexisting with what is directed light and the state stalking via helicopter. Okay, that is the P.O.C. And you have what is the United States Postal Service coming directly focused on where I'm at, stalking with the sound of what is impossible audible activity of what's supposed to be a train. That same train activity is what is coexisting, occurring, in other words, as I make any moves. That is going on ceaselessly inside of the car as well. So the state is suggesting that the residences throughout Ontario can hear train activity inside of the car, because that's how loud it must be. in order for it to reach all the way up here to where is G Street. You cannot hear the train, and you're also not going to hear the train on the train tracks. It's absolutely asinine. And it's not a distraction. It is ongoing proof of what the United States Postal Service just did, again, in the middle of the night. That's what's so extraordinary about it. And you have what is delivering mail to the specific street while the state is flying over in helicopter. That was P.O.C, okay? And that was a specific act of terrorism, and I did capture it on video. That's what I want to point out. It's 10:25 p.m. That is terrorism underway by what is Union Pacific, also engaged in what is, first of all, it's impossible audible activity. This is documentation of what is terrorism. It's assigned to that third-party group stalker who was heavily documented using that Amtrak train tracks as a means of pacing. And so the state just creates the sound of train where you're never even going to hear it, okay? And not only that, you have what is that which is relevant to 18 U.S.C. Union Pacific is engaging in interstate commerce while they're participating in federal stalking in concert with the government. And this is also spilling over into what is terrorism, because this is a demonic conduct that Union Pacific is practicing. While you hear that impossible audible activity, it's demonic. It's contributing to what is a demonic environment. Stalking with the government that, again, flew over this vehicle in a helicopter while a demon was walking by in directed light and using a flashlight. That's a method of activity creation. It's absolutely demonic. All right. What I'm telling you is these demons are, this demonic activity is centered on the use of light. That is literally Satan using the vessel that is in a uniform identified as United States Postal Service and is stalking me. Okay. And that was a show of aggression while the state was also flying over by helicopter. And I captured that terrorism on video. It is 10:26 p.m. And like I said, you have what is that ongoing P.O.C. as I spoke to on my podcast, and the United States Postal Service participating in that act of terrorism. And you're talking about what is the federal government identified as USPS, which is the state acting directly. That's USPS is really a common form, if you will, of what is the government that you're looking at every day. The government is monitoring American citizens, and that demon-possessed stalker is creeping in the middle of the night, stalking and arriving out of the blue in directed light with helicopter activity, creating light while she is stalking in the path pursuant to the moment that I get on my phone. That's the demonic activity, okay? That's what is so profound about what I just captured. It's 10:27 p.m. and that is P.O.C. Yes, indeed. The government actors that are engaging in stalking American citizens, terrorizing them in helicopter, they're going to federal prison. Engaging in that conduct is grounds for federal prison. Engaging in stalking an American citizen, engaging in this conduct, which is demonstrative of demon possession, you are terrorizing in the position of law enforcement. You are terrorizing while you are of this condition of demon possession. You're talking about, that's federal prison. Engaging in kidnapping while you are engaging in this criminal pattern of conduct representing the government, that is federal prison. Engaging in criminal summoning resulting in the kidnapping of an American citizen that you're monitoring, that's federal prison. You have what is this act of kidnapping. I'm sorry, this act of stalking with helicopter. I want to reiterate this. These government actors, they're going to federal prison, and you are listening to my documenting it in real time. Now, when I said earlier, that's not the first time I said it, but pay attention. The entity engages in what is a heavily documented pattern of conduct with stalking with helicopter. Yes, it is the P.O.C. regardless. But let me point something out to you about Satan. Literally, this is a psychopath. Okay, you're talking about, first of all, you're already in trouble. And you're talking about what is literally showing that is revealing the threat and the psychopath that is threatening the life. You're talking about either way you go, you're in trouble. And then as I listen, and you are in trouble, this is the government's criminal system. It's no longer a secret. I am literally systematically publishing it. This is going on. It's happening not for naught. I'm letting you know what's the process is headed toward, and I am letting you know what is going to be the case with regard to dealing with these demons who are engaging in criminal activity in the natural. They're going to federal prison. And I want to be clear, the reason why this is an additional understanding as to the necessity for that. This demon-possessed entity, listen to me say again, they're going to federal prison, and the entity decided to again engage in that act of terrorism and fly over in a helicopter, and then engage in waging an additional threat by crossing path in the middle of the night, being a creeper on the side of this car that this entity knows that I'm sleeping inside of. And it is a government actor at that. That's also extraordinary. The United States Postal Service out here delivering mail on North Fern Avenue in Ontario in directed light, while the state is stalking by helicopter, also creating light activity, doing so in the darkness at 10:15 p.m., which is the P.O.C. And it is also not only is it weird, you're talking about what is the peculiar pattern of conduct in and of itself. There is no form. So if they want to start delivering mail at 10 o'clock at night, you're dealing with psychopaths, you're dealing with demons. They're not doing anything other than stalking. But I want to be clear. The entity engages in, okay, once I document them doing something, then they'll just keep doing it again because this is what we always do. It has nothing to do with, they're psychopaths. Guess what? That is the prosecution, and that is going to what is federal prison, okay? And United States Postal Service, you saw what is a demon. You saw the face of Satan stalking in the middle of the night. And that use of a flashlight, that is a demon that is stalking with light. That's what you see. All right. Well, you don't see that in the video, actually. That's what you're listening to me recite, because that's exactly what was happening while I was letting you listen to the helicopter activity. And I mean, this creeper, she was right there immediately. She was already creeping on the side of the car. Okay, because I told you I had the window covered up. This psychopath is engaging in surveillance, and this is the United States Postal Service. This is what they're doing during the day under the fake sun. They're engaging in surveillance, taking turns, crossing paths. It's the demonic entity pacing all around me. They're doing it at nightfall. She is stalking literally outside of the vehicle and then crosses path. This is literally Satan using this loser. Okay, that is where, well, I didn't even see a United States Postal Service uniform. Let me be clear what this entity engages in. That could have been any demon-possessed actor, third party, not even actually U.S.P.S., just hopping into a U.S.P.S. vehicle. Let me point that out to you as well. But it is nonetheless a means of identifying them. And that's going to be assigned to USPS nonetheless, but I want to be clear, this is what the entity does. It's the same thing with school buses. It's the same thing with, for example, law enforcement getting into a different vehicle rather than a police vehicle, for example. This is the sort of they're literally practicing lawlessness. And this is the lawlessness of what is Satan operating over an entire people, over a government. And it has literally lost all of its composure because its form, right? It's supposed to be normalcy. They don't have any form. And I have broken down everything that they are doing. And so I am showing you what is stripped down before your eyes, a literal psychopath. Okay. And you are seeing what is the petrified conduct. That petrified conduct, though, choosing to fly over me again by a helicopter. Let me be clear, like in the same way that I would represent any other American citizen who's being monitored by the government, they will be going to federal prison, and they're going to federal prison for that. That's going to be the policy, period. Because you see the attitude, you see the conduct, that is speaking to the necessity of that policy. This is a psychopath that is way out of control, and you're going to harness that, okay? You're talking about conduct that the government engages in, immediate grounds for federal prison. But I want to be clear, under existing federal law, what the government is doing as the entity itself, as law enforcement, for example, engaging in kidnapping as a part of the fact pattern, that is already speaking to what is grounds of federal prison. All right, I'm speaking to what is necessary as for more policy. You're talking about a no-nonsense policy with regard to immediately seizing the liberty of government actors as they're monitoring American citizens and engaging in this rampant terrorism. That is, I just wanted to point that out. As you listen to me say that they're going to federal prison, this entity foolishly chose to fly over me again tonight by helicopter. That's an intentional choice. They made that choice, and they are already in trouble. And by that, I mean, you already documented. I am prosecuting you right now, and I'm also going to prosecute you in the federal court, and I'm going to make an example out of you, and you're going to federal prison. And this is why they're going to federal prison. I want to make sure that I punctuate that, because that is speaking to what is absolutely necessary as policy. Everything that I have spoken to, everything that I have outlined, everything that I have proposed with regard to this federal policy is for that very specific reason. It is based on what is the conduct of animals in positions that have no business in, posing a threat. Okay, that's a very dangerous psychopath engaging in that lawlessness in such positions, including the United States Postal Service. Okay, whether that is just some random demon who lives in Fullerton somewhere and is out here stalking me and just hops into a USPS, which is provided to her by the state. Of course, I'm not saying, you're talking about the government that's providing a tool in order for her to come out here and engage in the P.O.C. Not necessarily even actually an employee of the United States Postal Service, which, by the way, is not delivering mail. There's no post office open right now. That was not the delivery of mail. Okay, it was a specific act, and I just want to make sure that that is abundantly clear, and it should be. You are stalking with helicopter. This is the P.O.C., and there's no question about that. Okay, and it is going to be attributed to USPS. It is because USPS has provided a vehicle to whoever that demon was. Okay, it is nonetheless the same entity, coexisting with what is the terrorizing act of helicopter activity over me in directed light, which is a deliberate choice that this entity made, listening to me say the fact that they're going to federal prison, and they are. And that's exactly why, okay? They continue to illustrate the reasons why that very policy that I advocate, systematic infliction of inhumane suffering, has been created to discipline, to harness, to cage, because that's what they need. They need lockdown. These are demons that are in the positions of the government, that are closeted psychopaths that pose a very, very dangerous threat to the very lives of American citizens while they're monitoring them. Okay. And I have a no nonsense policy with regard to that. And that's how you're going to treat these demons, like the animals that they are. You're listening to the documentation. That's exactly what they are. Okay. It's 10:39 p.m. and that is P.O.C.